The Hawaii Department of Agriculture's Plant Quarantine Branch is tasked with keeping uninvited insects and animals out of the state of Hawaii. It is not an easy task, as hundreds of containers, and before the COVID pandemic, there were thousands of tourists arriving daily. Kent Dumlao is the education specialist for the Hawaii Department of Agriculture Plant Quarantine Branch and has been with the department for 10 years. He is a graduate of the University of Hawaii at Manoa with a bachelor's degree in tropical plant and soil sciences. Hi, Kent. Thank you for joining us today to describe the inspection process in your presentation, Inspect to Protect. Kent?
My name is Kent Dumlao. I am the Education and Outreach Specialist for the Plant Quarantine Branch of the Hawaii State Department of Agriculture. Yeah, I've been with the department for 10 years now. I started off as a line inspector. I have a bachelor's degree in tropical plant and soil science from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Today I'm going to talk about how the possibilities of working at the Department of Agriculture, specifically with the plant quarantine branch. We work with everyone here in the state of Hawaii, and hopefully you can take this information and maybe challenge or gear your students to kind of get into agriculture to begin with, number one. And number two, maybe possibly think about doing the regulation side of agriculture. There's many facets in the Department of Ag, and I'm just going to share about Plant Quarantine Branch today. My presentation is called Inspect to Protect, and that's something that I share to a lot of individuals, whether it be to schools or stakeholders. Inspect to Protect, and that's basically what we do. We're here to protect Hawaii, protect the citizens of Hawaii, the environment, the farmers, everyone here, to make sure that we can live, have fun with our family, our friends, and just enjoy what makes Hawaii special. Yeah. So just a brief overview. I work for the plant industry division of the Plant Quarantine Branch. As you can see in the screen, you can see that Department of Ag isn't just plant quarantine. There are different divisions in the Department of Agriculture where your students can, have if they want to be in ag, they can, but they love money, for example, too, they can work in our ag loan division and help farmers get these loans. If they're into animals, we have an animal industry division. So we have inspectors there as well that help, help farmers, get animals, look for the health and safety of them as well. So plant industry, we're divided into three. Plant quarantine branch is where that's the branch I belong to. There's also plant pest control branch and pesticides branch, and the three branches work together in the event that there's an invasive species that comes into Hawaii, or there's a pest here. But as you can see, there are many facets in the Department of Ag where students can get into for their career. Just a brief overview of what we do. We are the regulatory agency for the importation and possession of the following animals, following items. And number one, we look at live plants, which includes seeds, fruits, cut flowers, and produce. We look at non-domestic animals, so that can be like shellfish, seafood, nematodes, insects, reptiles, and birds. We look at microorganisms. We inspect those, which include microbial products, mushroom spawn, diseases for research for the university. And we're also considered soil. We also inspect soil, which can harbor microorganisms or nematodes. Another thing that we do is we issue permits and review permits. So in the event that somebody wants to bring in anything live, you do need to have a permit through our branch. We also help to certify nurseries so that they can export their plant material to the US mainland and our neighboring areas. We also conduct rapid response, and if there's a snake sighting or a coqui frog sighting, it is our branch that will go out there. We're either going to trap or capture animals if they're sighted. We do send our inspectors out. It's a requirement when they do enter our field that we send them to Guam. As you may or may not know, Guam has brown tree snake problem. I do have a jar right here. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Brown tree snakes. Here you go. And we send them to Guam, so there is travel involved. We send them there because the inspectors can get all the snakes that they need. They can learn how to hunt for them, train their eyes so that they can find them. Because here in Hawaii, we don't have these animals here, so we want to make sure that our inspectors are able to respond to animals such as this. So you don't need any experience to begin with in terms of capturing animals. We do train individuals as they come on board. And last part is we do outreach and education to the public, and that falls under me. So you can see some pictures here on the right where we attend outreach events. So before the pandemic, this is the top picture that is from the Cuneo Orchid Show, and we tend to go to events where there's agricultural interest. So Cuneo Orchid Show, we work with the organizer, the Cuneo Orchid Society, and basically, we'll bring material out and kind of tell everyone, hey, have you seen these animals? If so, please alert us, please let us know, because we're here to protect everyone. Um, yeah. On the right, we have an inspector. That's one of our inspectors at the Christmas tree farms in Oregon and Washington. A couple of years ago, we sent inspectors out there to work with Washington Department of Ag um, and the growers over there to make sure that into Hawaii are clean, because it makes our life easier here if they send clean material. So we maintain this relationship with everyone, whether it's the growers, whether it's the local government officials, because ultimately we want to make sure that Hawaii is safe for everyone. Um, the other picture here is this is one of our inspectors in Guam. So you can see him holding a brown tree snake. Again, that's not in Hawaii, that's in Guam. And you get hands-on experience in capturing brown tree snakes. Yeah. And then the other picture right here shows an event that we went to. It was like a little craft fair that we got invited to. And we were able to talk to students and parents as they came to pick up their children. We had a little booth there, and basically tried to educate everyone, like, hey, do you see this, or do you know about coqui frogs? This is how they sound like, etc. Yeah. So before the pandemic, I have been going to schools that um, requested for me to attend, whether it was kindergarten up to high school. I've gone there, brought a PowerPoint display and basically talk about our rules and regulations, and maybe possible career opportunities, like what I'm sharing today. So it is a possibility. Like if anyone here wanted me to talk to their class, maybe via Zoom or anything, um, we can schedule something like that, and we can do something like this. I've worked with Dr. Amar with her internship class. So basically all these ag students, maybe they're unsure where they want to go. And I'm here to not only tell them about Department of Ag, the rules and regulations, but also maybe kind of spark their interest in becoming an inspector possibly, or maybe just, you know, um, maybe if they don't want to become an inspector, maybe just bring awareness to some of the rules and regulations that we have. Yeah. Our program is fairly old. It's been here. It was started in 1888 by King David Kalakaua. The Department of Ag has been here to protect Hawaii. From the very beginning, King David Kalakaua started our first quarantine law, which was to protect coffee. And after that, after several years later, other things such as plants, insects, and non-domestic animals were added. And even to this day, we still um, promote and um regulate coffee and these laws that he enacted before. So we've been here for with the state for a long time. You may or may not see us or know us, but if there's like a shortage of corn one day or maybe Christmas trees, that's well known. If there's a shortage of Christmas trees, then you get to know us because maybe they'll mention, oh, ag found slugs or etc. like that. But we're here basically to promote agriculture and protect everyone from pests. Because ultimately, if we can stop pests from coming in, it won't affect other crops such as anthuriums, your flowers, the tropical stuff that we grow here. We are considered the first line of defense because all the stuff that I mentioned, the fruits, the vegetables, the cut flowers, the non-domestic animals, those are inspected here in Honolulu first. It is the main point of entry. We check it and for bugs, insects, permits if you need it. And once it's okay by us, we checked it and it's clear. Um, that's when people will see them at the wholesalers or they'll see it at their supermarkets or farmers markets. Yeah. We also do interstate inspection. Plant material, as you can see here, are regulated by us. We check it again for insects or disease, like coqui frog, for example. Each island is very specific with their own set of pests. For example, Hilo has coqui frog. A Big Island has coqui frog. And we don't want these pests to be traveling and spreading to all of the other islands. We are an island state, so unfortunately, people transporting things are the culprit of spreading pests. Not intentional, of course. Animals belong here on Earth as much as we do, but we try to do our part in checking these things so that um, it doesn't affect our way of life. Yeah. So you can see pictures. It's a free service. You can call our office or come down to our office. Plant material can be brought over and we issue this tag here, this tag right here. Basically, it's free and it just certifies that it was checked by us. And that it's apparently free of insects and pests and that it's okay to go. Even if you're just hand carrying it or if you have a giant load like this, which is a pallet or even a container of stuff, we do ask that things like this be checked in the event that, we're trained to find like the littlest ant on it or maybe coqui eggs or whatnot. But again, it's free. Um, and it is required for plant material like this to be inspected by us. Um, One of our main job sites that we go or do is, of course, Hawaii is an island state. We work with the airlines, so air cargo. A lot of the highly perishable commodities, such as the flowers that are coming in, the bouquets, the produce such as like mushrooms, strawberries, those are flown in. And like, for example, here, the belly of the plane, we have these containers inside and the airlines are required to hold it for us for inspection. And you can see inspectors here looking at the fresh fruits and vegetables and flowers that will later be distributed to the stores or wholesalers. So we do check at the port of entry at the airport. We also have this agricultural declaration form. So this is the form that is passed out by the flight attendants coming into for people who are coming in to the state from domestic origin, basically telling us if we have, if you guys have any fresh fruits or vegetables or even live animals, cats and dogs, we just want to make sure that, if you do have these items, that it is checked and it's free and clear of any pests. We have inspectors on the baggage floor, and that's where you will predominantly see us. We are short staffed right now, so maybe you haven't seen any of us, but we do have podiums down there. We also have this amnesty bin. Amnesty bins are placed right before passengers get into the baggage claim area. So we do check these amnesty bins, and we have updated signage right here to kind of show and tell people what should be placed in here. And so one of the things that an inspector will also do is um, check this for any animals or fruits and vegetables. And in one incident in 2005 or 2006, an inspector did find a live snake unbagged in this amnesty bin here. So it's a good thing that it was placed there. It wasn't released into the wild, but it served its purpose. And all throughout the state, you'll see this this type of amnesty bin. Um, Baggage clearance again. So we do monitor baggage claim area for people who are hand carrying or carrying any agricultural material. Again, it should be checked, or we try to check it as best as we can, especially we're looking for illegal items or just uninspected things. Yeah, these are one of the main pathways for pests to come in to Hawaii. We also are present at the mail areas, so FedEx, UPS, Post Office, DHL, all that stuff. We look for all the plants coming in and all the flowers, fruits and vegetables. We're at the sort usually and basically checking these parcels for any live or some of those regulated things that I've mentioned earlier. Some of the things we find: fruits and vegetables, live animals. So this was taken away. Somebody tried to order this as a pet. Um, Stuff as small as like tillandsia. These need permits to come in. Live fish, you need a permit to come in. Anything else, we check it and then it's quickly released to the importer or customer. The other place that we work with is the sea cargo area or the maritime section. That's where I'm stationed at. We are directly behind Matson and Pasha. So these are containerized items. So you'll have your watermelons, your pumpkins, your apples, all the stuff that can last a voyage, which takes about 5 days from California, Washington to Hawaii. So we go to the wholesalers and basically they offload these items, and we are checking the lettuce and all that kind of stuff for fruits, for pests that are coming in through these leafy greens or whatnot. Yeah. Um, Dry containers like this. So this is a dry container that contain potting media. These are flagged for us for to inspect. We do get hitchhiking pests in there. So there's a potential risk of coming across an animal that kind of runs in here for shelter, gets locked in, and basically we're the first thing, people or thing that these animals see. So we do find bats sometimes. Hawaii doesn't have any rabies, so we are concerned with mammals getting trapped in here, hitchhiking. Cats, dogs. We'll find raccoons, possums, and stuff like that. So we are prepared to find, trap, and capture any of these stowaways in there. Uh, you can also, tell your students that we do use canine dogs um, in our inspection. So we have a separate canine team, the detector dog inspection program. Currently, we have three handlers and three canine, which are mixed terrier mixes, and their predominant goal is to look for the brown tree snake. So they inspect military aircraft, military ships. Also, they are looking at the baggage claim area soon, and they are inspecting mail and the dogs are used basically to for their keen sense of smell. They help us greatly, and I think our canine team, well, if we can get more funding, we'll be able to have more handlers and more canine positions, and that will further help the inspection process and keeping these unwanted animals and pests away. So being a canine handler is another option for your students if they wanted to work with an animal or work with animals, but also want to do regulation type of work. Um, so here is Joffrey on the right, and he intercepted uh, a bowl of various fruits. This is Kai. He found a Christmas tree, a miniature Christmas tree that wasn't labeled on the outside, and because of their good sense of smell, they were able to intercept stuff like this. Yeah, they are trained to smell live animals, fruits, vegetables, plant material. Rapid response. So, this, I think the rapid response part, it doesn't happen all the time, but in the event that it does, for example, on the left, we're getting more reports of coqui frog sightings, especially here on Oahu. We're finding these things. So we report, we go out at night to capture these things. So this is an inspector, Inspector Jennifer. She caught a coqui frog on this at this resident area. And here, this is another inspector climbing a tree. Apparently, there was a iguana, this iguana right here, there. And we do rehome these animals if we can to our zoo, our aquarium. And if not here, then we try to find homes for them at the mainland government zoos or sanctuaries. So not only inspection, but we have once in a while we'll get these sightings, and it's not a boring day. So there's a lot of diversity in what we do. How do you become a plant quarantine inspector? So you do need to have your at least a bachelor's degree with a major in the following areas. So gear your students to be interested in entomology, which is has to do with insects, plant pathology, plant diseases, or anything in agriculture. Currently, and also later on, I know they'll be too young, but they need to be able to drive because we have different locations that we need to do our inspections at. Um, yeah, so have a degree, so go to school. I would suggest getting them involved in, there are different clubs like the orchid societies, maybe cactus and succulent societies, that kind of stuff, FFA at schools. Just get their hands um, dirty, get them aware of these things. And once they get into college, pursue that degree, get in touch with their advisors, and make sure that they have all these qualifications so that when it's time for them to um, graduate, they have all the requirements that they need to apply to become an inspector. So I also go to job fairs um, whenever the state has a booth. The Department of Ag is usually there because we're always looking. A lot of people are retiring, and we always need new blood. Right now, with this pandemic, it might be frozen a little bit, but um, when things get better, we are always going to be looking for inspectors to do this work. And without these requirements right here, listed here, unfortunately, they won't be able to qualify. So make sure that you kind of gear them to have this under their belt. Um, I worked with Dr. Moore for her internship class, and I talked to their students. When they get to that college area, we do offer internships. I know for our branch, we've had several students do their internship with us, and that can be a good opening for them to kind of get their foot in the door and know when there's vacancies and whatnot. And um, that's how I got my foot in the door with Department of Ag. I actually did my internship here way back when, and was fortunate that there were openings and I got in. And yeah, this is what it looks like. Just a few more slides. Our website, if you look on the top right, hdwa.hawaii.ca, On the top right, it'll say careers. You click on that and it will have listings like this that are open. They can click on it and you can see the requirements. Right now, I think it's very empty because we're not hiring because of what's happening right now. But when things get better, this is what people can apply for later on. And a few things that we have are connect with us. We have our website, h2a.hawaii.gov. This is the website, for the careers. We have a Facebook page for the department. We have Made in Hawaii with Aloha, that MIHA, that is done by our marketing branch, and Hawaii SOQ, Hawaii Seal of Quality. They have 2 new Instagrams right here for you guys to follow the department and just be involved if you like in that aspect. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Ken. The plant quarantine branch has a huge responsibility to keep out those invasive species, and it is amazing what the branch has done with its limited resources. So we're wondering, what is the most unusual animal that has been intercepted by the quarantine branch?
Um, since I started, we've always had either like snakes come in, whether it's turned in under amnesty or we've intercepted in the mail. I would say snakes. For personally, when I was an line inspector, I found a giant clam in the mail that was destined to be in somebody's aquarium, and that clam, like what you would see Aphrodite coming out. Yeah, that type of giant clam was destined for someone's aquarium. Again, it's an endangered species, CITES, everything. And, we do have investigators to go and catch people who smuggle these things. But snakes, all different kinds of lizards, tarantulas, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the pets on the mainland are okay to have in the mainland. But here in Hawaii, those snakes, tarantulas are not okay. So we make sure we try to find those. Yep. 643 pests too, right here on the bottom. That is a pest hotline number. People can call. You can be anonymous too as well. If you know somebody who has something illegal, they can turn it in to any of our offices statewide. Just turn it in, no questions asked. We want to get the animal. I have these handouts too. If anybody wishes for me to send them, we have little pamphlets or even our rules and regulations of importation, inter-island inspection. If anybody wants them, you just try to email me or get my contact information and I can send you a packet as well.
All right, thank you.